I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I was so nervous to put this out into the world, but then I remembered that my 21-year-old self needed this when she was getting kicked out of Italy. And when she was going through a really hard time, when she was going through that breakup, when she was on the floor in a ball, curled up, not knowing if she could see the next day. This one's for you. Let me just tell you that I am nowhere near where I thought it would be. It actually turned out I'm in such a better place than I ever thought. I could have never even dreamed this up in my head, and I can't wait to share it with you all. Yo, 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 yo. What the fuck is up, party people? I'm so excited and so fucking nervous for this to go out in the world, but as I always say, that's the best time to take a motherfucking leap. If you're watching this on YouTube, hi, I love you. We're really rocking the Euro aesthetic. I shamelessly just smoked a cigarette because I was so nervous. I had to hype myself up for this because this is probably like the 7th time that I've recorded this fucking episode. I've been teasing this project on my Substack, and if you aren't subscribed, go do that. We go into the unfiltered and raw truth over there, and I pray every day that my father does not read the articles. I mean, what dad wants to hear about her daughter's sex stories? Not mine. Anyway, let me reintroduce myself. I am a 26-year-old American girl living abroad completely alone. Alone except for my friends who have literally turned into my family. And I am so far away from my blood family and was questioning my moves here in the beginning of this year, coming back from Christmas. I miss the mountains and I miss the snow and I miss skiing. And I honestly, like, part of me missed my, this is so bad for me to say, a part of me missed my toxic relationship and old life. But then I met like one of my best friends here and my other best friend, and we became like inseparable glue. And it wasn't until then that I really felt like this was the place to be, because the first year of living abroad, like on your own, is really hard and sometimes like a little bit scary. And it's like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? But here we are. And the reason I started this podcast is to talk about all the behind the scenes. You know, on Instagram, we always see the highlight reel and all the perfectness of everyone's life. And I wanted to document everything that is going on in my crazy single girl life and how much of being single is a superpower and being brave and moving to new cities or countries or across oceans. And I think it's time we celebrate the other milestones we don't see on Instagram. I'm talking the ones where you finally know what you want to do with your career, the one where you move into your dream apartment in a new city without a roommate, the one where you hit your first pull up and see your first sunrise and get a dog and build a business. I mean, like getting engaged and having kids and buying the house with a white picket fence is fucking great too. But that doesn't have to be everyone's path. Don't get me wrong. I want to have babies and I definitely want to find like the hot husband who's going to be like the best dad to my kids, but I haven't found him yet. So I'm taking you on this crazy journey we call life in our 20s, and we get real over here. So come into bed with me, come snuggle up, light up a joint, pour a glass of wine, light a ciggy, drink some water, eat a magic mushroom, do whatever your little heart desires, because this is a judgment-free zone. If you're at all related to me and you are listening to this, first of all, thank you. And second of all, I am so sorry. You will get to know me as we strip down, but there's a ton of different layers to me, like an onion, except a bit sweeter. So without further ado, let's fucking get into it. I'm sitting here talking to you from Lisbon, Portugal, and I must admit this is my 7th time recording this podcast, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And I want to give you guys A1 advice and give you my whole personality all in one. And the last one I listened to, I was like, God damn, Hailey, you're so boring. So here we fucking are. I want to start this off by telling you about my journey. So are you ready? So sit down. Let's get into it. And I just got a text from my mother. Good night. Love you so much. You're amazing. And you can do all things. And that's honestly one of the reasons why I'm here, is because my parents are so supportive and my family is so amazing. This journey started off when I got sent home from Firenze, Italia. Can you tell I studied abroad there? Like, that was a pretty good Italian accent. If you're Italian, don't at me. So it was January of 2020. The city was magic, and I was skipping hand in hand with my lifelong best friend who I lived with in Florence, and I had met her while studying abroad. And it was 3 a.m. and we were going to get pizza, only to get lost like deep into Florence. We didn't get home until 5 a.m. because we were wandering around the city drunk as shit, shoving pizzas down our throats and staring up at the Duomo and flirting with all of the gorgeous Italian men. And I didn't think life could get that much better, honestly. I'll have her on the pod at some point so we can spill all the dirty details. And honestly, I feel bad for club space. If you know, you know. If only those walls could talk. But I digress. We ended up getting sent home a month later because COVID hit Italy really hard. We all fled to Barcelona, probably single-handedly spreading COVID to Spain, and then flew back to the States from there. All the schools got shut down. I flew out to Colorado to stay with my then boyfriend, and then the day I got there, the mountain shut down as well. So we lingered around Colorado and stayed in his parents' condo with our best friend and his girlfriend at the time. And let me just say, none of us are together anymore. But that time was so special, honestly. We binge watched the Kardashians, as we should, from start to finish, smoked too much weed, and almost killed each other when we decided to go on a road trip across the country from Kansas to Colorado to Utah to Nevada to California and then up to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And we saw all the national parks, which I'm so grateful for. Like, the US is truly such a stunning country, and we're so lucky, and I'm so lucky to call it home. But I knew that I was born to be in Europe. And when I was sitting there, as I looked up at Old Faithful shoot out of the earth like a fucking guy shoots out of his pants, I asked myself, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, that was a really difficult time in my life, and I was going into senior year. The only thing I was looking forward to in college got ripped away from me, and I wasn't sure if my boyfriend and I were going to make it. Spoiler alert, we broke up that next year. But I just like needed to finish college and get the fuck out of Kansas because that's where I grew up. And we always traveled around, and I had been to Europe a couple times in my high school years. But when I studied abroad in Florence, I just knew. Like, you know, when that place is just calling to you, you have to fucking answer. You have to pick up the phone. So another place that was calling to me was Denver. So I moved to Denver, fucked around, got my first big girl corporate job, and then went on a solo backpacking trip back to Italy. And then I also went to France and Spain. And my mom was actually the one who told me to just go solo dolo. And I wanted one of my friends to come with me, or my boyfriend, but no one was willing to quit their job. So that was fucking rude. So I went like by myself, and for a month and a half-ish, explored around, met new people. But when I landed in Florence, I literally started crying, like the good tears. And they weren't cute, mysterious tears. Like, they weren't just like the single tear rolling down my face as I saw like the Florence city skyline, like from the window. No, I was fucking bawling, like bawling. I couldn't control myself. The flight attendant came up to me. She's like, honey, are you okay? And I was like, yes, I'm so good. Like, I'm so much better. I'm so good. I just knew I belonged there. Like, there was a call that kept calling, and my phone wouldn't stop ringing for me to pick it up. So that boy, I broke up with, and, you know, we got back together like 18,000 times, and I asked him to come to Europe with me on my solo trip, but he declined. And honestly, that was such a blessing in disguise because I just met so many amazing people along the way who I wouldn't have met if I was just hanging out with my boyfriend all the time. And when I got back to Denver, I knew I had to live abroad. I just didn't know how or when or where or any of the details. And then I started another remote corporate job. And that's when I met one of my besties. We met in person on a company retreat in Hawaii. We may or may not have taken that job just for that trip, as one does. We both ended up getting fired from that company, naturally. But she was going on a backpacking trip that summer and was asking me about how I was alone for so long. And I was like, here's the thing about solo travel. You're never alone. You'll crave the actual alone time because all of the people you meet along the way are always around. And I'll do a whole episode on solo traveling one day. But for now, all I got to say is book that damn flight. Like, just go. Like, just go to REI, get a fucking backpack and pack all of your life in it and go for a month and see what happens. You got to fuck around and find out every once in a while. So she went and came back and called me up and asked if I wanted to move to Lisbon with her because she met an American guy during Santos, which is the massive festival that goes on all month of June. Everyone's partying, drinking in the streets, like smoking cigarettes until like 5 a.m. And like literally no one ever sleeps in the month of June. If you're Portuguese, especially, like, and if you're an expat living here, good luck. um, so when she called me, that was in May, and I really knew, like, I had gotten back together with my boyfriend. We were so on and off, like, I can't even keep the timeline straight. But I knew that my boyfriend and I were done. Like, the only thing that was really keeping us together was fucking each other's brains out. And he wanted to move back to our hometown, and I didn't want to do that, like, at all. Like, I was not going to go be that housewife while he went and ran the family company and, like, came home to, like, fully cook dinners. No, I was not going to do that. Don't get me wrong, I love to cook, but I want some company in the kitchen. Like, I want that, kind of push and pull play, whatever. So I started the visa process in May and thought it would be a solid 3 months until I could move. And boy, was I fucking wrong. The visa process is no fucking joke. Like, $10,000 later, a flight to San Fran to turn in my whole life by envelope and send it to Portugal so I could get my visa stamped into my passport and then get sent back before Christmas because I was going to be in my new life before I knew it. Like, in my head, it was perfectly planned. And as we know, God, the universe, the stars, the moon, whatever you want to fucking call it, always has a different plan. So I had moved into my parents' house. They moved out to Colorado because all, like, my middle brother and I were in Colorado at the time, and then my other brother was in Utah. And we basically told our parents, we're like, listen, we're not going to come back to Kansas City. And, like, we want to go ski, we want to go travel, we want to go do holidays like everywhere else. Even though I still have family there, like, it was just like our chapter was done in Kansas City. So I moved out of my Denver apartment with my best friend in July and then moved in with my parents. And I thought it was going to be like a quick 3 months, and I was so fucking wrong about that. So my roommate, the girl from Hawaii who I met, got her passport, got her visa. Everything was sorted, like, so easy for her. And she moved to Lisbon on time, like, in January. And I was still stuck in the US, which fucking killed me. I hate FOMO. I have it all the time. But actually, since moving to Europe, I don't have FOMO anymore, which is so interesting. But I digress. So it turns out UPS had lost my passport. The helpline isn't at all connected to the office in San Francisco, and I had no idea what was happening. Like, they're supposed to send you an email, they're supposed to keep you in the loop when the passport was approved. I didn't even know if I had gotten approved yet. And it was kind of iffy because I was in between jobs and I had just gotten fired from another job. More on that later. But I was like so stir crazy. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, am I even meant to live abroad? Like, I haven't heard from the passport people. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm trying to start my new life, people. Like, why isn't this rolling? So a month later, like, literally I was in January and I was supposed to be there by now. So I finally go to the UPS warehouse and get a paper trail of my passport, right? The sweet old man who had been working there since like 1969 told me that my passport sat there for 2 weeks. No one came to get it. So they sent it back to the contactless VFS office in San Fran. And I just about died right there in that dusty warehouse. The UPS guy came to our house the week of Christmas to deliver the package with my passport in it. We missed him by 2 hours because my family and I went up to the mountains to ski for the holidays, as one does, right? When you live in Colorado, you have to go spend the holidays in the mountains, obviously. He didn't leave a note. I didn't get a text or an update or an email or a phone call, like, nada. And, like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get all of these updates. And I got nothing. I even paid for, like, the pristine service. And sweet UPS, I love you. And you were being Santa Claus that day. But holy shit, my life was, like, over. I stormed into my parents' house, bawling my eyes out. Like, literally, my mom had thought someone had died. And me, being my dramatic self, was mourning the idea of my life abroad. Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm not meant to do this. I am, like, very superstitious and I'm very spiritual, as you will come to realize. But she was like, no, none of this. She took my hands and told me to get my shit together. She looked me in the eyes and goes, close your fucking eyes. She didn't say fucking, because she's the sweetest human ever. But when she cusses, she cusses. And like when she cusses, you know that you know that you fucked up. She's like, Hailey, close your fucking eyes. She took my hands and she was like, imagine a golden beam of light shining down on the returned mail pile in the VFS office. The guy who we had the appointment with sees your name and realizes you never got your passport. He calls you and sends it to you overnight, says how sorry he is and that he's fixing it right away. So I closed my damn eyes and I imagined it and I saw it and it happened. Okay. I smoked a joint the rest of the night and let it go. I truly was like, fuck it. What is meant to be will fucking be. Like, if I'm meant to go abroad, then I'm meant to go abroad. And then I literally just forgot about it. And I was like, there's nothing else I can do. I'm basically just surrendering to the fucking universe. So this is like where I realized that I'm like a spiritual master, manifester, goddess, mermaid. This is the woo side to me, okay? And the next day I got up, went for a walk. I walked a lot back then because I had nothing else to do and I was still getting paid for my other job. And in hindsight, I should have started all of this stuff, but I just like was so not in the place. I just needed to get to Lisbon. I went for a walk and my phone rang in my pocket. So I ripped off my glove. And keep in mind, it's like 10 degrees in Colorado, like winter and everything, like snow on the ground, cold air. My face was red from how cold the air was. And it was a San Fran number who was calling me. And it was the fucking guy I had the meeting with. He's like, hi, Hailey, I have your passport. It was returned to sender. And I was like, no fucking shit. And he's like, give me your address right now. I'm overnighting it to you. And I jumped up and down. I literally fell to the ground. I rolled around the snow and I was like, holy fucking shit. I literally told him that I loved him and then ran all the way back home and like literally started packing. I called American Airlines to confirm my flight that I had pushed back 19,000 times. And the best flight available was on my ex's birthday. Perfect. One-way business class to Lisbon, please. Thank you. Ciao. See you later. So it all worked. It all worked out the best way possible, and I was ready to get there. My roommate had already made friends, so I was on my way to a new friend group and a new spot that my roommate had already explored, and it was truly like meant to be. I gave away all of my fucking clothes and drove them down to Denver to all of my best friends who still live there, and I honestly had no idea when I was going to see anyone again, and I didn't know when I was going to see my parents again. I didn't know when I was going to see my family again. I had nothing planned other than moving to Lisbon. I didn't even know how I was going to start making money. Okay. So I just trusted everything and I was just like, let's fucking go. So I hugged my parents goodbye at the airport. My mom like literally couldn't even go in with me. My dad carried my bags in with me like the king he is. And I hugged my mom like for literally 7 minutes straight on the curb, just like bawling. And I was like, you have to go, you have to go, you have to go, you have to go. And the funny thing is like my bags are always overweight, right? Always. So my dad's like helping me carry all my bags to the front desk of business class. And he's like, he looks at me and he's like, watch this, knowing that my bags are overweight. And I put the bags on the counter and she looks at it. It's overweight. She looks at me, hands me back my passport. She goes, have a great flight, Miss Moore. Slapped a heavy tag on that bag and sent it on its way. I was like, let's fucking go. That's never happened to me before in my life. Bawled all the way through the airport. My dad, like when my dad starts crying, I cry. Like that's just inevitable. And I could tell that he was holding back the tears and he was like, go make the world yours. Like, I'm so proud of you. Go do what you're meant to be doing. And I'll see you when I see you. And I mean, just like makes me emotional now, just like thinking about it. So I cried all the way through security. All of the like security agents were like, is this girl okay? And I was like, yeah, just let me like put my sunglasses on, whatever. I'm just leaving my whole family and my whole life and everything that I know behind. It got better once I got to the lounge. Don't get me wrong. I got a cappuccino and then I got a glass of champagne and I was like, okay, we're settled. We can fucking breathe. 3 flights later, I landed in Lisbon for the very first time. I had never even been to Lisbon before. But I just had this feeling that I was meant to be here. And you know, when there's a feeling or a certain country or a certain place calls to you, that means that there's a story already written there for you. And that means you have to go read it and you have to go fuck around and figure out why that country called to you. And that's kind of what happened to me. And that's kind of where this story begins. I feel like I've been talking for 0.5 seconds and now we're already at 20 minutes. So welcome to the shit show. One thing I have to say is like the moral of this story is that everything that is meant for you will never ever pass you by. And you have to answer the call. Whether it scares the shit out of you or not, you have to go answer it. And if you ignore that, then you're going to be on your deathbed looking back and asking, why didn't I go for that? Why didn't I take that leap? You're always going to be wondering why. That's what this life is all about. Like, you only have one life and you have to go live it. And you have to go balls to the wall and make mistakes and fuck around and find out in your 20s and not have it all figured out. And this is the whole reason why I started this podcast, is to tell you that I am your biggest fan and know that if I can do this, if I can take this insane leap without a job, without any stability or security, or have no idea how I'm going to make it into the world, then you can too. So here's the drill. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and follow and send this to a friend and be nice to me and leave a comment if you feel like being a cool human today. I get it if you don't feel like being a cool human, but if this resonates with you, like, please do let me know. That all of the comments from you help me figure out what to talk about. I was so nervous to put this out into the world, but then I remembered that my 21-year-old self needed this when she was getting kicked out of Italy. And when she was going through a really hard time, when she was going through that breakup, when she was on the floor in a ball, curled up, not knowing if she could see the next day. This one's for you. And let's just say, this is only the beginning. I have a shit ton of stories to share with you. I have so many friends who are going to come on the pod and we're going to talk about everything and anything. And go subscribe to my Substack. I talk about all the little dirty details in those articles. And thank God for freedom of speech, because Lord knows there's a lot of tea in there. Let's hope I don't get a cease and desist. But anyway, more to come on that. And let me just say, I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. And I know that you are meant to live an extraordinary life and it's calling you. So go pick it up. And with that, I love you so much. I will see you next Tuesday. Ciao. Love you.
Can we just redo? You know I need you, but only see you when the moon's blue. Can we just redo? Can we just redo? You know I need you, but only see you when the moon's blue. Can we just redo?
Oh my God. Okay. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but that's fine. We're going to put this out into the world. I feel like I'm going to shit myself. And smoking that cigarette was not a good idea because now I'm all up in my head. And it's 10 p.m. and I need to go to sleep. Yeah. Okay. How do I turn this off? I really hope I was recording that whole session. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Jesus fuck. I'm gonna drive myself crazy. Love you. Bye. Ciao. See you later, cunts.